Today's Dharma talk comes from a question from one of my students who's currently reading this lovely little book called Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. In Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, one of the sections is 101 lovely little Zen stories. And the one she's questioning me about is called the most valuable thing in the world. In my mind, I call it Sozan and the Dead Cat's Head. But that's very short. Let me read it to you, and then I'll give an explanation. Sozan, a Chinese Zen master, was asked by a student, "What is the most valuable thing in the world?" The master replied, "The head of a dead cat." "Why is the head of a dead cat the most valuable thing in the world?" inquired the student. Sozan replied, "Because no one can name its price." So I can see why she was confused by what that means. So let's actually talk about what that actually means in there. Okay. So Sozan, the past masters of Zen. So when Zen master Sozan was asked by a student, "What is the most valuable thing in the world?" he replied, "The head of a dead cat." And when the student asked why, he said, "Because nobody can name its price." I can see why she's asked me for this. So let me explain this. The Zen master's response, "The head of a dead cat," is a classic example of a Zen story as a form of a paradoxical statement. And it's often used as a question to provoke deep contemplation and the practice of insight in the student. So Sozan's answer can be unpacked through the lens of possibly philosophy. And it's the Zen philosophy which often challenges conventional thinking and aims to break through intellectual and ego-driven barriers to get us to come to a direct experience of reality. So, in the conventional sense, the most valuable thing in the world might seem to be something like gold or diamonds or some sort of material possessions or wealth. However, Zen teachings often turn such conventional notions on their head. And by saying the head of a dead cat, Sozan shocks the listener. He shocks the listener into reconsidering what the value truly means. So the head of a dead cat is typically seen as something that is worthless, or maybe even repulsive. But in the context of Zen, the value isn't in the object itself, but rather in the realization that it can lead to. Now, in this particular context of Sozan's answer, the cat's head can be seen as a symbol of emptiness and impermanence, both which are key concepts in Zen and in Buddhism. everything in the world is transient. And trying to cling to things, whether they're considered valuable or not, this can lead to suffering, discontentment. The head of a dead cat is devoid of life. It is a stark reminder of this particular truth. It's a way of pointing to the emptiness of all things. And in particular, the folly of attaching value to that which is inherently empty. Zen often uses absurd or shocking statements to help push students beyond the limits of their conceptual thinking. So when the student hears the head of a dead cat, they might, or their mind might initially react with confusion or maybe even a bit of disgust. And it was this reaction is precisely what Sozan intended. He wanted to disrupt the usual patterns of thought and to help open the mind to a deeper, non-conceptual understanding. So the answer is not meant to be understood in a logical or conventional way, but rather to awaken a direct intuitive insight. Zen teaches that the sacred and the ordinary are simply one and the same. And by choosing something as seemingly insignificant and unappealing as a dead cat's head, then Sozan might be pointing to the idea that true value isn't found in extraordinary things, but it is found in the ordinary, everyday aspects of life. In Zen, every moment, every object, and every experience holds the potential for awakening if it is approached with the right mind. So Zen practice involves moving beyond dualistic thinking, seeing things as either good or bad, or valuable or worthless, black or white. So in this instant, Sozan's statement challenges the listener to let go of such judgments. And it's by valuing something as unappealing as the head of a dead cat, he asks us to confront our attachments and our aversions, and for us to simply see things as they truly are, without the filter of our conditioned responses. So in this way, the answer serves as an invitation to the student to simply look beyond the words and to engage with the question on a more profound level. So it's not about finding the right intellectual answer, but about encountering the essence of the question directly. The value in the story lies in the experience of grasping with its reply and in the awakening that might arise from this encounter. So in essence, Sozan's answer, the head of a dead cat, is not meant to be taken literally. But he's used it as a tool to jolt the listener out of their habitual ways of thinking. It embodies the Zen practice of using unexpected, often jarring statements to help to lead the student towards a deeper and a more direct understanding of reality. And one that transcends conventional notions of value. And this, in its own way, can help open the way to enlightened awareness. And then when he says, no one can name its price, he's pointing to the idea that the most valuable thing in life are often beyond conventional valuation, or maybe even understanding. While the head of a dead cat is something seemingly of no monetary value or worthless, or even absurd as an answer, by choosing this as the most valuable thing, Sozan is highlighting the idea that true value cannot be qualified or even defined by ordinary standards. So the phrase that no one can name its price suggests that the essence of true value lies in something that is beyond the reach of logical or material assessment. And it can encourage the listener, the student, to move beyond surface level judgments and to contemplate the nature of the concept of value itself. Because how is it so often that we've found in things that value is found in things that are intangible, ineffable, or even in many cases just simply overlooked. So this particular teaching invites us to question our habitual ways of assessing value to things, and suggesting that we explore the deeper, often hidden truths that cannot usually be grasped by ordinary means. So that is the explanation of Sozan and the dead cat's head. Thank you for joining me today.